It's been a while since I played No Man's Sky, but the last time I was in here, I was really into building these digital circuits. There's a couple different types of switches you can use. There's what they call the auto switch, which is basically a transistor, and there's an inverter. So you can build a lot of digital stuff, and if you can build a NAND gate in something, then you can build any other kind of logic circuit. And I built a decoder circuit that was kind of complex for me anyway, and somebody commented on my channel with an improvement, and that was Nolindor. Turns out this guy has built all kinds of fascinating projects in No Man's Sky, and he recently put out a video of an 8-bit calculator that he did. So I'm going to travel to that planet, and we're going to check it out. As it turns out, he's got several other projects in the same system, so I'll visit those while I'm there too. So I've taken the teleporter to the system where his projects are. There's several planets here. The projects, at least not the ones that aren't the calculator, they're on other planets. So we'll be traveling to those shortly. The calculator's on this planet. There's a few others though with other projects on them. We'll get to those in a little bit. First I have to travel over to where the calculator is. I cut out a good part right here because when I first came here earlier on, it was the middle of the day and this display was really hard to see, so I waited around until the evening when it's a little bit darker. So here's the calculator. On the left you can see a plus button, an equals button, a clear button, and then the numeric keypad. One of the things about the switches in No Man's Sky, by switches I mean the inverter and the transistor, is there's a built-in delay. So it takes a while for circuits to really work their way through. Like you saw how long it took for that single digit to come up. That's pretty typical. So now let's see what the result is. And there's the answer. Just the fact that this works at all is really amazing. And we'll go take a look at the circuits in just a minute here. This second example, I don't know why I chose this. I think I meant to hit the 8 or the 9 instead of the 0. But it's not very dramatic. It's just, 2. And what the heck, let's just do one more and then we'll go in back here and take a look at how this thing is wired up. It's really not clear to me if Hello Software included these switches with the intention of people building digital circuits in the game. Because of the delay that's inherent in these switches is just frustrating. I'm sure they could operate a lot faster but most people use them for things like opening doors and stuff. I think Nolindor and maybe myself are the only people that are building any kind of digital circuits in here. So anyway, let's go take a look at this thing. There's several circuit boards. There's part of the input controller down there. There's all the wiring to those lights. Each one has to be wired in. There's some of the display driver. You actually get a better view from the lower walkway, and I'll be hopping down there in just a second. So there's the input controller, and it might do other stuff too. I'm just kind of guessing at what this stuff does. I haven't sat down and tried to reverse engineer any of this. That would be really time consuming, and I'm just not that big of a circuit guy. It would be hard for me to directly reverse engineer something like this. Here's the display driver. I know a little bit about the display driver because I've built one myself. And you want to try to reuse parts, like, you know, a 3 is very compatible with an 8. If you can start with a 3 and just add, you know, a couple more lines on it, you've got your 8. So try to optimize it that way. One of these must be a memory circuit to hold at least one digit, and the rest of it would be like an adder to do the processing. Nolindor says there's under 3,000 parts here. There's also this little project over here on the side. Not real sure why this one is here. It's got that 4-segment display on top. That's not the actual. That's more of a to track how many digits you've input than anything else. There's this X up here that if you put in the wrong sequence, it lights up red. I don't show that in this video. And it's got these 2 garage doors. The garage doors are the part in the lower right of those boards. And what you need to do here is input the correct sequence. Let's turn it on first to open the doors. Now there's 2 doors here. I click that twice to reset this thing, because like I said, I was here earlier in the day and I just left it in whatever state. You know, I didn't think to turn everything off before I left, so I came back with everything on. So anyway, each door has a specific code. This one is right here. And whenever you hit a button, one more of these panels lights up to kind of let you know where you are in the process. Like I said, I'm not sure if this is so much a puzzle as an experiment. I asked Nolindor, are these puzzles? Or are they just experiments? And he said they are puzzles. If there's a door in it, it's a puzzle. This one's really not too puzzling. There is a puzzling aspect to it, though. As you can see, the door's open now. Because there's 2 doors here, and there's 2 distinct codes for each door. One for each door. But I could never get them to both open. So maybe that's the puzzle. I just couldn't figure out how to get them to both be open at the same time. If you start messing around with this thing, it automatically resets on its own. I didn't have to go turn it off again, and the doors are closed. So I'm just going to start putting in digits for the back door. See, all the lights are on. This door didn't open, but this one did, so. I just couldn't figure out, or even tell if there's a way to get both of these doors open at the same time. I assume that there is, but I didn't spend that much time trying to figure it out. And that goes for these other puzzles too. I just wanted to get this video together and get kind of a tour of them out there. I didn't spend that much time trying to figure them out. I'd like to go back and I'd like to say, yes, I did figure them out, but that's going to have to be in the future. So now it's time to go on to the next project, which is on another planet. And I've sped up the fast travel on this so that you don't have to sit through flying between planets. I will say that when I got to this other planet, it's been a long time since I played this game, and I botched the landing really badly. I mean, you can if you hit the lander correctly, it'll land you automatically, and there's no drama. But if you miss it like I did, you really end up running into stuff, and you'll see that in just a second here. So anyway, I finally did lock onto the landing pad. So this one, it's way high up in the air. A couple of these are way high up in the air. I like it. It adds to the alien feel of these. And this is like one of the most alien things in the game is visiting these projects, because you know they do something, but you have no idea really what it is. I can't imagine being someone that's just out playing the game and coming across one of these things. You would have no idea what is going on, because nobody else is building anything like this, at least not that I know of. It's been a while since I played this. I don't really follow the community or anything, but I've never seen anyone else building digital circuits in this game. That is a short-range teleporter on the left. That's a long-range waygate on the right. That's a big display in the back of the room there. It's got a couple of columns that light up on the sides. They seem to light up in a sequence. Maybe gives you some kind of clue as to how far along you are in solving the puzzle, but I did not solve this one, so I really can't say for sure. And there's some other columns further in the back that can light up. So back here, these are pressure panels with the hatching on them. Up against the wall there. Usually you find those on the floor. These are on the back, and you'll see why in a moment. There's one on each side of the room. And there's a section of the base behind there that you can't directly access. This seems like the business end of that thing. There's the 3 buttons in the front. And then there's what seems to be like a master power switch right here. Now this power switch, it doesn't leave the power on like the whole time. Like you hit it, you've got a few seconds to do some inputs, and then it all turns off. So we got a green light. We can start hitting buttons. And a lot of times the button hit will result in a display, an animated display like this. And as you can see, the columns lit up a little bit over there. I don't know if the height of the lighting is indicative of how well you're doing, but you can see it's reset already. So you have to be pretty quick, it seems like, to get this to do anything. So I would say a red light is bad. There's also some other stuff in this room. Like I said, those are pressure panels down there at the end of the hall. You can use these sphere generators. You can generate a big metal ball and roll them wherever you want. And as you can see, the green light comes on. So it seems like you're supposed to use these balls to activate the pressure panels. I don't know if they both have to be activated before this thing will work all the way to the end, or if you're supposed to do one and then hit some buttons and then do that. Like I said, I didn't finish the puzzle, so I don't know exactly how it works. As you can see, this seems to be a good thing. The columns on the directly to the left and the right are mostly lit up, or at least 50% lit up. So I think that's some kind of progress indicator. So you hear a lot of noises in the background. I think some of it are there's like these rocket thrusters or something attached to the bottom of this that they can spew out flames. I'm not sure if you can control those with these switches, so maybe it's just random noise coming from those. That's what it sounds like to me anyway. There's also that short-range teleporter in the back of the room. I think the objective here is to get that thing, the teleporter, to turn on, because there is a hidden part to this facility that you cannot access through a door or anything like that. But I think I'm done here and ready to move on to the next project. Like I said, I didn't solve this one, so I'll have to come back and mess with it some more. On to the next planet. Welcome home. This one is pretty straightforward. There does seem like there's a little bit of a puzzle to this one too. And there's another switch in there that I didn't notice when I was playing around in this video. So I'll have to come back and hit that switch and see what it does. But this one is pretty impressive just on its own. Even if you don't solve the puzzle, look at this thing. A scrolling bitmapped text display in this game. These aren't things that you just build that is in the game inventory. Again, these are circuits that Nolindor has built from scratch using these switches and the lights for the display outputs and everything. So you don't get these messages out of the box by any means. You have to, build the circuits to do this. And we'll get a lot better look at the message in just a second. It's the viewing angle here is not the best, but I jump on top of here and then ultimately on top of the building, and you get a really good view of it. It's a welcome message. Unlike some of the other projects, this one, you don't get to see the wiring at all, and it's encased in this building back here. And it looks like it's got some doors on the side. I think these can be opened. I didn't really spend a lot of time on this one either. But I did notice in this video there's a switch that you can access that you can't even see. I don't know if it's a glitch, but there's a switch right over here on the corner that the prompt for it lights up. There it goes, that I did not hit to see what it does. And there's another switch over here that controls, obviously, something. Not really sure what that something is. It didn't open any of these doors, but that would be way too straightforward, I think. So you don't get to see what's in that building. The puzzle must be, you open it and you can see what's in there. The project's called Welcome Home. the display only shows welcome on it, so I assume the home part is inside of this structure, and you just have to solve the puzzle to be able to access it. But still, just as a casual player, if you ran across this, you get a little bit of reward at least. You get to see the scrolling display, which you don't run across a lot of these in No Man's Sky, I'm here to tell you.
Temperature levels stabilizing.
I don't know why I didn't notice that one switch when I was here. I wish, I'm gonna have to go back and hit that and see what it does. I think it might be a mistake, like maybe Nolindor put a switch a little too close to the wall, because it's obviously inside the building. But I'm gonna go back and hit that switch and see what happens.
Thermal protection falling.
But for now, it's on to the next planet and the next project. Alright, this one is called Containment. And I think this is the most alien looking of all these projects. It's a really weird feeling to run across stuff like this in the game. I mean, even knowing that there's something there to find. There's just nothing else like this anywhere else in the game, so it's an unusual feeling when you walk up to these things. Especially since you have no idea what they're going to do. So there's another short-range teleporter there. Not sure where that thing goes, or really how to turn it on. So this structure, it has an upper part and a lower part that are connected by a stairwell, which is that cylinder in the center. Mostly stairwell. It's not stairs all the way up and down. There is a part that's like disconnected. So before we go in, I wanted to check out the roof to see if there's any kind of clue or anything up there. A little quick glimpse inside the building there. But as it turned out, there's nothing up here. A lot of the stuff, like these materials and everything, last time I played No Man's Sky, I don't think these were available. The woods and the bricks and all that and the metal seem to be something was added since last time I played. So here we are. There's basically 4 sections to this one. Each one has a decal in the center and 4 lights associated with it. So here's one of the decals, the Normandy. That's actually from another game, kind of a tribute thing. And these decals, I think, correspond with decals on some switches that are at the bottom part of this project. And the lights, I think, are some kind of progress indicators. There's 4 lights associated with each part of this area up here. And here's the stairwell going down. It's not really much of a stairwell. It doesn't come all the way up. And there's another sphere generator positioned right over the stairwell. So there goes one of the balls. Like I said, I'd been here earlier in the day, and I left this thing, I think, on because I had a little bit of a problem getting it to work. I think I actually turned it off at this point, trying to get it to go, because Yeah, see, now the lights are out. I thought I was turning it on, but I turned it off. Anyway, it'll all get resolved shortly when I realize there's nothing happening. So this one's a little different. Instead of having a bank of buttons that you push to do stuff, this one, after I get it turned on, it seems like it's more of a serial controller kind of thing. Like you just basically hit that button until the lights are lit up in the right sequence. And whether the decal that's associated with each group of lights is the one that you have to have selected in the bottom of the building or not, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't solve this puzzle either. I just messed around with it for a little bit. So yeah, that's definitely the on-off switch, and I've realized that at this point. Each time you hit this button, it's going to change the sequence of some of these lights. But what the sequence is, I don't know. Maybe you need one of each color on each of the banks. And like I said, there's these decals seem to correspond to switches in the bottom. So let's go take a look at the basement of this thing. So here we are. There's a pressure plate on the floor of each one. And you can see the decal right in the middle of those three lights in the back. So obviously you're supposed to put a ball on a pressure plate in one of these. You can only have one ball per generator active at any one time. You can't just spit out a bunch of these balls and start pushing them around. There's only one per generator. Okay, so that pressure plate is activated. And I'm just going to hit one of these to see if anything happens. Doesn't really seem like it. There's a short-range teleporter up here. It'll take me back upstairs. So now I've made note of what decal the ball is sitting on. I think it's this one here, which is an Atlas station. Picture of an Atlas station. So I'm just going to mash these buttons and see if I can get something to change over there next to that one, and then go down and see if anything happens. I think at the very bottom of these stairs that is an iris door. It's not something that was in the game the last time I played it, so not really 100% sure what a lot of this stuff looks like, but just messing around with these projects, I think that's an iris door that's at the very bottom. So you're supposed to open that up, and then what happens, I don't know. It seems like you would fall out and get killed. So it takes a while, apparently. I mean, you can see how many times I've hit this button, and now it's just the one on the left is changing a lot. I don't know if having a ball sitting on the pressure plate disables a bank of these lights, or what. Like I said, I didn't really solve these or really spend that much time on it. I just wanted to do a quick tour. So there's the new sphere that was created. Okay, this one's sitting on the sandworm pressure plate. And the sandworm bank of lights is the one that's on the far left up here. Just coming down to check to see if there's any difference down here. Wouldn't really expect there to be one, but I was just trying stuff out to see what different things I could get to happen. So at this point, I'm just going to go out here and see if there's anything at the bottom of this structure that would offer any kind of clue. I really didn't expect to find anything, but I figured it was worth checking out before I finish. And there's nothing. So what I'm standing on now is the roof of that lower section at the bottom of the stairs. This thing is positioned over a valley, so I figured I'd go down and see what's underneath the bottom of this. Once again, didn't really expect to find anything, but I did find something interesting after all, which you'll see in just a moment here. So looking down from this ledge, there's nothing on the bottom. I think there's a door in the bottom of this thing, and obviously there is a door, because if you look down in the valley, there's one of those balls is down there. Over there on the left where that red glow was. So the door must have been opened at some point. I don't know exactly what triggered it, or if that's what's supposed to happen. If I solved one of these puzzles, I'm not 100% sure I would know, especially this one. All I would know is something changed, and finding the ball down here must have had the door open at some point. I don't know if that's good or bad or the right thing to do or whatever, but in any case, that is the end of this video.